Before we begin this video, I'd suggest that you watch part 1 of this series so you aren't lost. I'll leave a link in the description to that video, and that video mostly focuses on part 1, while this video will focus more on part 2. Anyway, let's pick up where we left off. So with no reason for a Sasuke retrieval arc in this timeline, we arrive at the events during the time skip. I do believe that Naruto will spend these 3 years traveling with Jiraiya. The main reason he went was because Jiraiya knew that the Akatsuki were after Naruto, and in this timeline it would have been Orochimaru that would have leaked this information before he and Kisame's death. As for Sasuke, he would stay in the village and retake the Chunin exams. Not only would he become a Chunin though, he would also be appointed to a Jonin. This happened with Neji, and since it happened with Neji I can see it happening with Sasuke. They were both the two prodigies of their generation, so I can see them both becoming Jonin. The hard part is to determine how strong Sasuke will be though. Without Orochimaru's training and the desire to kill Itachi, he will be significantly weaker than he was in the original timeline. It seems like he learned his change in chakra nature from Orochimaru, so I don't see him having things like Chidori's Sharp Spear. I don't think he would learn Kirin either, because I think Orochimaru either taught him that or helped him enable him to learn it. He also won't know how to use a sword, and he won't have a stage 2 curse mark. So in this timeline, Sasuke will be much weaker than he was in the original timeline. As for Sakura, she will have never even met Tsunade, and this means she won't make her big jump either. The only change I see for her is that she becomes a Chunin and learns some medical ninjutsu just like Ino. Everything else in the story should stay the same, so we can go ahead and skip to the beginning of part 2. Naruto will come back after his training and be the only genin among his classmates. Shortly after that, the news that Deidara captured Gaara will arrive to the Leaf Village, and Fugaku will decide to send Team Kakashi and Team Guy, just like how it was originally. The first change to this arc will be that Kankuro will die from Sasori's poison. Sakura wouldn't have learned the proper medical ninjutsu from Tsunade, and this means that she can't save him like she did originally. Tsunade won't be able to come in time either, so sadly Kankuro is doomed. After Lady Chiyo decides that she can't save Kankuro by herself, she will head out with Team Kakashi, and Team Guy will also follow. This brings us to the point where both teams are confronted by Itachi and Kisame. Kisame is dead and Itachi is not in the Akatsuki, so this leaves us with only one other Akatsuki duo. This would be Hidan and Kakuzu, and they would be tasked with fighting the two teams with their 30% chakra clones. What happened originally is that Zetsu spotted Team Guy first and asked for a volunteer to fight them with their 30% chakra. Hidan would take that offer because he doesn't use chakra and he would be excited to kill people in the name of Jashin. Shortly after that, Team Kakashi was spotted and Pain asked for another volunteer. Kakuzu would volunteer since he was the only one left capable of fighting, them excluding Sasori and Deidara. I think he gets the nod though, since it seemed like Pain didn't want to send Deidara or Sasori originally. Let's start with Hidan versus Team Guy. This team has a lot of blunt force, and we already know that Hidan can take a good amount of blunt force. The key in this fight is Tintin, believe it or not, because she has sharp blades and lots of explosives. Anyway, Hidan was able to get Asuma's blood, but I don't see that happening with Team Guy. Kakashi was able to fight Kakuzu and Hidan at the same time without getting scratched, and I feel like Guy, Neji, and Lee are around Kakashi's taijutsu level, and there's 3 of them, so that's a big help. Tintin will need to stay back, and she can get bailed out if needed by the other members of Team Guy. So in a 3v1 taijutsu battle, Hidan gets stomped, but it's not like it would injure him. Eventually, Neji will notice that taijutsu won't be effective, and Team Guy will come up with a different strategy. Tintin can give them all weapons, and they can try to stab Hidan. Then when they realize that doesn't work, they can try to cut off his head like Asuma did, and this would work. I know that it appears that I'm downplaying Hidan, but he couldn't get Kakashi's blood, and in a 3v1 situation, they can really have their way with him. After his head is chopped off, his chakra clone will still be alive since Hidan has survived with only his head before. This gives the Leaf the potential to interrogate Hidan, but we'll talk about that later. Now for Team 7 versus Kakuzu. Kakashi was able to get Kakuzu down to 2 hearts with a little help from Shikamaru during their fight, and while Kakuzu is fighting Team 7 and Granny Chiyo, so they can definitely get him down to 2 hearts. Once Kakuzu gets down to 2 hearts though, he gets into a more defensive form and keeps them in his body. This team has 2 people capable of using Chidori though, and Chiyo's puppets can stab his hearts. I just feel that at this stage in the battle, Kakuzu will be outnumbered, and this will cause him to lose. This means that Kakuzu's clone will die and both teams will proceed towards Gaara. Sasuke and Kakashi will have used a good bit of chakra though in their fight. If y'all have some discrepancies with the outcomes of these battles, just comment if you have anything to say, and I might respond. I just don't want to go super into detail over this because it's not what the video is about. Both teams will make it to Gara a little later than usual, and Team Guy will decide to take off the tags that seal the hideout, while Team 7 and Chio will remain put. Once they peel off the tags, Team Guy will have to fight their clones like they did originally. But Team 7 and Chio will then walk into the cave and they confront Sasori and Datara. They will leave Hidan nearby though because they don't want the Akatsuki to know that they have him in custody. This won't work though because Zetsu will have seen this happen and will tell Sasori and Datara before their opponents enter the cave. Anyway, Naruto would start scolding the Akatsuki duo, and that's when Sasori and Datara would realize that Naruto is the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki. Datara will decide to lure Naruto out, and Kakashi will follow. Datara will find and explode the Hidan clone though, so that Leaf can interrogate him, just like Zetsu told him to. This leaves a team of Sakura, Chio, and Sasuke versus Sasori. Here are some things to consider when it comes to how this fight will turn out. For starters, Sakura wouldn't have made any antidote without her training from Tsunade. She also doesn't have super strength, and this means that she really does not serve any purpose in this fight. As for Sasuke, this isn't even heavy Sasuke, so that makes this team's fight that much harder. But let's go ahead and talk about how this fight would go. I think that Chio and Sasuke would agree that Sakura needs to pursue Naruto instead of Sasori. The both of them know that Sakura can't carry her own weight in this situation, and Sakura will obey defiantly because, she doesn't feel the need to prove herself quite as much since she never had the drive to get better after Sasuke defected. This leaves Sasuke and Chio versus Sasori. So this version of Sasuke is not a good matchup against Sasori, but he has a few things going for him. He's very fast and this will help when it comes to dodging attacks. Chio really had to use Sakura as a puppet in their fight, but in this situation, Chio can give Sasuke a loose leash and only help during dire situations. He also has Fire Style, and yes, I know that Fire Style is rarely ever effective, but we have seen Sasuke use a Fire Style that's burnt a clean hole through a tree when he fought Orochimaru. Sasori's puppets are made out of wood, so they can't really afford to get hit, but he does have his Iron Sand and that can easily block fire. A downside for Sasuke is that he can't easily destroy puppets. The only way he can is with Chidori, and that eats up a good bit of chakra. Let's stop talking about how they stack up and start talking about who wins. So first, Chio will unmask Sasori, and that's when he brings out the third Kazekage puppet. After that, Sasori will try his move where he has hundreds of hands try to trap his opponent, and Sasuke will be fast enough to evade that. After that, Chio will bring out her puppets, and that's when Sasori will begin to use some Iron Sand. This is when Sasori throws a barrage of Iron Sand at the both of them, and I can see Sasuke dodging it, while Chio will have to use the mother puppet to block it, and the Iron Sand will render that puppet useless for the time being. Sasuke will realize that they are going to have to take the offensive, so they won't lose their only puppet left. They'll both charge from different sides, and Sasori will throw some more sand at them. I can see both of them evading it though, because Chio's puppet will be fast enough to react, as we've seen before when the puppet shields her. And we've already established that Sasuke is fast enough to dodge the Iron Sand. Sasori is kind of caught pants down here, I'll have to say, but he should have a counterattack. He will use the third Kazekage puppet to stop the father puppet, and while he does that, he will shoot fire out of his arm and towards Sasuke. Sasuke can counter this with his own fire style, and that will be more powerful than Sasori's and it can last longer. Sasori will take note that Sasuke can use Fire Style. As that is going on, Sasori will realize he will lose the war of attrition against Sasuke and will devise another attack. At this point, Sasori will have run out of fire, and I'm aware that Sasori used Water Style in the anime, but I'm going to not do that here because in the manga he didn't, and I'm just going to go off the manga. Before he runs out of fire though, he can move some Iron Sand in between him and Sasuke in order to block his Fire Style. After that, he can shoot some more Iron Sand towards Sasuke in order to deter him. So Sasori is going to be feeling the pressure at this point and won't feel as playful as he was at the beginning of the fight. He'll fire some more Iron Sand at Chio, but Chio will be able to block it with their puppet hand like she did originally. After that, I think that Sasuke will have found an opening and will charge towards Sasori with the intent of using a Chidori at the last second. Sasori will have no choice but to use the blades on his arm in order to defend himself, while simultaneously ejecting the wire in his stomach in order to charge at Chio. Sasuke's Chidori will clash with Sasori's blades for a second, and then Sasori will pull himself towards Chio. Sasuke will follow though, and with Sasuke's speed he can catch up and Sasori will know this. Sasori will turn his attention towards Sasuke, and their Chidori and blades will clash yet again. At this point, Chio will realize that they are constantly one move away from losing and will decide to bring out the first 10 puppets in order to give her and Sasuke some breathing room. Sasori will disengage from his clash with Sasuke, and the third Kazekage puppet will disengage from his clash with the father puppet. He'll take this move by Chio very seriously, and at this point he'll be going 100%. He will create as much iron sand as he can in order to do the attack in which he makes the sand go absolutely everywhere. Sasuke will be able to escape outside, but Chio will have to block her body with the father puppet while she moves all of her other puppets outside. At this point, Chio will be rather exposed, and Sasuke won't have a clear path towards her to save her, but she can even the odds. She can use 3 of her remaining puppets in order to create a vacuum that sucks in other puppets. The third Kazekage puppet will be completely vulnerable and will suffer victim to this move. The third Kazekage puppet will be destroyed, and this means that Chio can now use the mother and father puppet along with their puppet arm again, since Sasori can no longer control the iron sand. This will piss Sasori off greatly, and that's when he will move outside in order to use his next jutsu, and Chio will follow. Sasori will summon his 100 puppets, and this will be the final act of the fight. This fight won't be close though. Sasuke's fire style is extremely effective here, and much more effective than Sakura's punches were at this stage of the fight. The massive area of hostile puppets around him will make it impossible to miss with his fire style. This means that instead of 10 puppets stalemating against the 100 puppets, she will have a few puppets left. We will be generous here and say that she only has 1, while Sasori has 0. At this point, Sasori has nothing, and Sasuke and Chio can overwhelm him until Chio stabs Sasori in the heart and defeats him. I've got a lot of respect for Sasori, but doing a 2v1 against 2 hard counters is tough, but I still see him giving a stellar performance until the end. Now, while all of that is going on, Kakashi and Sakura and Naruto will be tailing Deidara. Kakashi has not realized he has a Mangekyo Sharingan in this timeline though, and this is because he only realized after Itachi revealed that he had one. That doesn't happen in this timeline though, and so there won't be much of a plan when it comes to taking down Deidara. In fact, I would say that their plan would be to wait on Team Guy for reinforcements. Team Guy came not long after they got Deidara on the ground, so this means that Team Guy can catch up, and not long after that, Sasuke and Chio will arrive. Deidara will realize that Sasori was defeated and scold him for being overconfident. At the same time though, he will realize that he is terribly outnumbered and his chances of capturing Naruto are very low now. In order to get away, he will drop Gaara and then fly away in the other direction. I think he will specifically drop Gaara because Deidara is someone that respects opponents when they show good character. This is shown when he waits for Gaara to move his sand from over the sand village before capturing him. I think that he will respect Naruto's dedication towards Gaara and will decide to at least reward him with a body. After dropping the body, he will fly off towards Kakuzu so that he can get his arms sewn back on. What Deidara does not know though is that Chio can use her forbidden medical ninjutsu to revive Gaara at the cost of her own life. After that arc, we skip the arc where New Team 7 pursues Sasuke, and we arrive at the arc where Hidan and Kakuzu start capturing Jinchurikis. I can see this arc changing very little, actually. The most important change would be that Asuma lives thanks to the intel that Team Guy collected when they fought Hidan's clone. I don't want to go into too many specifics, but I can see Hidan and Kakuzu dying while Asuma lives. Naruto will take out Kakuzu with his newly learned Rasen Shuriken, and that ends that arc. After that, we skip to Jiraiya versus Pain, and I can see this going the exact same way as it did originally. Fugaku will allow Jiraiya to infiltrate the Rain Village, and Pain will defeat him. The news of Jiraiya's death will devastate Naruto, and he will be ordered to learn Sage Mode just like how it was originally. The Akatsuki will still need to capture the Eight Tails though, and this leaves only Pain, Deidara, and Obito as the only candidates. This video is getting kind of long, so I'm going to stop it right here, and then we'll finish this whole alternate scenario in part 3, starting with the Pain invasion and ending with the war arc. But thank y'all for watching, and like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to see more videos in the future, and comment if you have anything to say. Other than that, thank y'all for watching, and I guess I'll see y'all next time.